Asylum is something we assure, along with about 40 other nations, to people who have fled their home countries because of persecution or a well-founded fear of future persecution based on one of 5 grounds: nationality, race, religion, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. Particular social groups include people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or intersex. The majority of people who apply are deported back to their country of origin. Some are deported for failing to submit a completed application within 1 year of entering the United States. Applicants are not entitled to free legal representation. A small number, including those here, find their way to legal help, and even fewer will be evaluated by a health professional for medical or psychological consequences of torture. Findings are admissible as evidence in a court of law and may well be the only evidence an asylum seeker has. In this film, you will see 4 asylum seekers. Each has had or will have a hearing in immigration court in New York City. Photos cannot be taken in the courtrooms, which are behind these closed doors. Grim waiting areas have shadows of people who have waited the long hours for their cases to be heard. Waiting for a slot on a court docket at all can take years. We are going to the Weill Cornell Medical College, and we're going to evaluate an asylum applicant today. I'll be working with 2 medical students who have both done several evaluations each, and so they're pretty seasoned themselves. We'll be meeting the applicant, and probably his lawyers will be there with him as well. Not an interpreter in this case, because he speaks English very well. And so first we'll be getting the room set up, chairs, water, making it comfortable for a very long interview, and then I'll be reviewing the case a little bit with the students, talking about what to expect, what things in particular we will want to keep in mind, and then we'll have the applicant come in and do a very long and comprehensive psychiatric evaluation in this case, and then after we complete that, we'll close and say goodbye to him, and I'll do a little more teaching with the students, kind of maybe a debriefing depending on how the experience goes, and that'll be it. Then I'll cross town and back to my regular work in the office again. I've got, what I generally do on my way to the interview is to review my notes on the case, the person's own statement. I just go over things I don't want to forget to ask in the interview, and just sort of put myself into that particular mindset. Two people came to my office to discuss asylum and healing. They wrote messages which distill their experiences. The first is a man whose face cannot be shown for reasons of safety based on his ethnicity. He had been denied asylum, but has won an unusual second hearing based on an additional grounds and a changed condition in his country of origin. He is awaiting that hearing. He writes about the peace he finds in his work as a cook in a school and for people living with AIDS. The second was granted asylum 2 years ago. As a result of being granted asylum, she applied for and has received a green card. She writes about the importance of her spirituality and community in her new life. She speaks about freedom and happiness.
It didn't matter what my exterior was or what my sexual preferences was. What mattered was that I'm a human being and I need to be happy. Regardless of what I am, whether what country I come from, what is the color of my skin, what is my sexual preferences. I am a Buddha, means I'm the person who needs, a human being that needs to be happy.
She offers advice about trust.
It is very important for them to be kind and to win the trust of the asylum applicant, so that that person can completely open up to whatever fears. And it took, like for me, it took a very long time to actually put my story on paper. It took many meetings with the lawyers, and it took me a lot of time to trust them in the first place. But their kindness eventually won my trust.
Photographer Donna Ann McAdams and I are collaborating to make portraits of asylum seekers. You will see the two people we just saw, along with two others. They come from 4 continents, countries, religious backgrounds. They span 40 years of age, 3 grants for asylum, and differing sexual orientations. Each works, each volunteers, each chose the setting for their portraits. One wanted to be shown with the documents she painstakingly collected over years to try to prove her case. Collecting them caused her to miss the 1-year filing deadline. She eventually received asylum. One wanted to be shown in the garden outside the clinic for torture survivors where he received treatment. He was denied asylum based on the 1-year deadline, but received withholding of removal, and so was protected from deportation to his home country. One has come to love Central Park, where she rode a boat for the first time. Asylum was granted. One wanted to be shown in the kitchen of a school for children where he volunteers as a cook. He is currently awaiting his hearing.